What's going on, everybody? My name's Derek, this is Fatal RPM, and today I have something really cool to show you, but first, we gotta clean this up really quick. Coming home with me. Coming home with me. This goes to the fuel line, so I'll put that right there, put that. Nice and clean. So the thing I have for you today is right here. And as you can see, the box says Uniclutch. This is the clutch I decided to go with for the 300zx. And let's get the box open. You can see here we have one box, which I will go ahead and set aside. We got a second box here at the bottom. See here. And then we have a new spigot bearing inside this box here, as well as a throwout bearing. This clutch is going to be for our 1986 300zx. I also have a 2008 BMW 335xi that I do want to do a manual swap on in the future. When that'll happen, I'm not sure. And there's also a new project coming up here pretty soon, but I want to get the engine in the Z and have it somewhat running, maybe not well, but I want to have the engine in the Z before we get to that project and actually start working on it. But yeah, so this box. Now Uniclutch does offer multiple clutches, one being their base clutch, another being the Sport, which is what we got here, as well as a track version which holds a lot more power than the other two. However, this one here, it should be more than enough for what we need for the Z. And the reason why I went with them is because it's a really interesting concept and it's a pretty decent bang for the buck. So see here, these are instructions. I actually don't know what's inside of this. Got air fresheners and some stickers, which are always great. And then we have a QR code here on the front, which we can scan to get our specific instructions for our clutch. Now, what exactly is Uniclutch? Uniclutch are modular clutches, and what that means is their clutches can make one clutch and have it fit multiple different vehicles. Not in the same sense of different models of a particular type of vehicle, but this clutch on a whole bunch of different vehicles. And the way they accomplish that is by having the clutch be one whole assembly here with the friction discs and plates in there. And as you can see, we don't have any type of friction disc here on the back. That's because this basically doubles as your flywheel. So all Uniclutches are double clutches, which are pretty cool. As you can see here, like I said, we did get the Sport one. And they are pretty hefty. First impressions on it are, I mean, it looks really high quality. We have some extra dampening here in the back, because if you don't know, double clutches can get kind of noisy. I don't know if you've ever ran like a Sport clutch in your car, but they can get really chattery. And I'm pretty sure, I'll correct it here in the video or not, I'm pretty sure the bushings there in the back are to help mitigate the amount of noise that this clutch will make. So one of the things about these clutches as well is, according to Uniclutch, they have an OE pedal feel with the Sport clutch and the base clutch, which is really interesting, especially for a clutch that's rated to hold, I think it's around 800 horsepower, or up to 800 horsepower. And I mean, I had a Sport clutch in my Genesis, a 6-puck semi-metallic clutch, and it was really chattery, but it held the power very well until it didn't. Now, as far as repairability of this goes, I'm not entirely sure of. I will have to reach out to Uniclutch and see if they have like replacement discs or whatnot, or if you just have to replace the whole unit. But what I can say about this is one of the really cool things you'll see here in the center. For those of you with a keen eye, that is not a spline for any transmission, let alone the 300zx. And the reason why it looks like that is because of what's in the other box. Now, box number 2 holds the key to the fitment, in which case, I mean, literally kind of like a key. But Right here, it's really just like a little quick start guide telling you how to properly attach this to your flywheel, which we will definitely go over when we go to install this whole setup. Now, as you can see here, this is the ring that comes with the clutches, and this essentially will help us adapt it to our flywheel. Now, these are designed for OE flywheels, and they don't really take the aftermarket into consideration, understandably so, because if you have like a twin disc setup that you got for your car, not even necessarily a Z, a lot of times they do come with like their own specific flywheel. So this doesn't really take those into consideration, but if your flywheel is based off of OE specs or like an OE setup, and you can still put an OE clutch on it, this should work. That's part of the reason why I even contacted Uniclutch in the first place, was because I have a Fidanza flywheel that I'm going to be running on the 300zx. It's an aftermarket lightweight flywheel. However, it's able to have your factory clutch installed on there, and it's definitely something you want to contact them about in your specific situation. And whenever you go to the website, it has a wizard for you to select the actual clutch itself, as well as your flywheel setup, and the options are OE and aftermarket. If you were to select aftermarket, it tells you to reach out to Uniclutch. But again, if it's OE, it should work perfectly fine. At least that's what engineering told me. However, for your specific situation, you definitely want to go ahead and reach out to them yourself. But in addition to the ring, what we also get in here is going to be this guy. And this here is our little fitment kit. And hold on, let me get the lid off. Doesn't want to come off. And what's included in our fitment kit are going to be a whole bunch of different splines. So whichever spline here would fit onto your transmission is the one that you would use. They have a snap ring that you would put on to lock it in place. This here shows you exactly how to install the spline in the correct orientation. You also have spacers and the hardware to attach the ring to your flywheel. I'm assuming that's what that's for. I have to read the instructions, but I assume that this is to attach the ring to the flywheel, or to attach the clutch to the ring. Probably the clutch to the ring. Yeah, that's the fitment kit. So far, just based off of first impressions, everything here looks really, really good. Especially the clutch. Like, the build quality on this clutch looks really good. Nothing looks like it is cheaply made or anything like that. And you can see right there, get you guys a close up on the spline. It actually focuses. It's kind of like a large tooth spline compared to the splines for the actual flywheel, as you can see there. But yeah, this is the clutch that I'm going with on the car. And the other thing I want to show you is on the bottom of that guy there. Now this guy here is going to be the very last thing that we have. But this guy here is a lightweight aluminum flywheel. And as you can see, I don't think we're H. Yeah, there are 3 dowels that this came with. This guy was new old stock, so it's brand new, never been used, but some of the parts in here are kind of old and rusty, as you can see. And I bought new old stock because I think I got this for like $2 something compared to like the $400 or $500 they usually are. So, you know, this is definitely a good buy. Surprisingly light. And I feel like with the weight loss on the flywheel, it's going to compensate for the weight that we're gaining having a twin disc clutch. So yeah, but that's pretty much it here. So at the time of recording this, I'm actually in the middle of kind of mocking up the fuel system for the engine. We are still working on the exhaust here as well. It's pretty much all done, and we will have a video coming out with that pretty soon. More than likely just before the fuel system video, and then we should get to installing the flywheel and the Uniclutch as well. But as always, I want to thank you for watching the video. If you liked it, go ahead and hit the like button down below. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe if you want to see more content coming from me. Also hit that bell icon next to it so you do get notified whenever I drop a new video. The 300zx will live again here pretty soon. Don't mind the dust. That is not that is in zero way a representation of how long this car has been sitting. Granted, it has been sitting for a little over a year and not running. A little over a year? Shit, we're actually about to hit 2 years. That's wild. But yeah, that dust is from something completely unrelated. But yeah, I want to thank Uniclutch for helping me out make this video possible. As always, thank you again for watching. Peace out, and I'll see you in the next one.